श्री राधा गोविंद गोकुलानंद की जय, श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, श्री गौरताय की जय, श्री प्रपात की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. We are reading from the second chapter of the third canto, verse 7. Uddhava Uvacha. Just want to make one point here. It is Uddhava, not Uddhava. There is no A. There is no Vidura. So let's just try. Uddhava Uvacha. Krishna Dyumani Nimloche. Garneshva Ajgarenaha. Kimnu na kushlam bruyam. Gata Shrishu Graheshva Aham. Uddhava Uvacha. Krishna Dyumani Nimloche. Garneshva Ajgarenaha. Kimnu na kushlam bruyam. Gata Shrishu Graheshva Aham. Prabhus. Uddhava Uvacha. Krishna Dyumani Nimloche. Karneshva Ajgarenaha. Kimnu na kushlam bruyam. Kata Shrishu Graheshva Aham. Uddhava Uvacha. Krishna Dyumani Nimloche. Karneshva Ajgarenaha. Kimnu ha kushlam bruyam. Kata Shrishu Graheshva. Mataji's. Uddhava Uvacha. Krishna Dyumani Nimloche. Vaishnava Ajgarenaha. Kimnu na kushlam bruyam. Kata Shrishu Graheshva. Word by word. Uddhava Uvacha. Shri Uddhava said, Krishna Dyumani, the Krishna son, Nimloche, having set, Girneshu, being swallowed, Ajgarena, by the great snake, her, in the past, Kim, what, Nu, else, Na, are, Kushlam, welfare, Bruyam, may I say, Gata Shrishu, with good fortune gone away, Graheshu, in the house, Aham, I. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sri Uddhava said, My dear Vidur, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare? Purport. The disappearance of Krishna may be explained as follows. According to the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vidur was struck with great sorrow when he got the hint of the annihilation of the great Yadu dynasty as well as his own family, the Kuru dynasty. Uddhava could understand the grief of Vidur, and therefore he first wanted to sympathize with him by saying that after the sunset everyone is in darkness. Since the entire world was merged in the darkness of grief, neither Vidur nor Uddhav nor anyone else could be happy. Uddhav was as much aggrieved as Vidur, and there was nothing further to be said about their welfare. The comparison of Krishna to the sun is very appropriate. As soon as the sun sets, darkness automatically appears. But the darkness experienced by the common man does not affect the sun itself, either at the time of sunrise or at the time of sunset. Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are exactly like that of the sun. Lord Krishna, he appears and disappears in innumerable universes, and as long as he is present in a particular universe, there is all transcendental light in that universe. But the universe from which he passes away is put into darkness. His pastimes, however, are everlasting. The Lord is always present in some universe, just as the sun is present in either the eastern or western hemisphere. The sun is always present either in India or in America, or sometimes in UK. But when the sun is present in India, the American land is in darkness, and when the sun is present in America, the Indian hemisphere is in darkness. As the sun appears in morning and gradually rises to the meridian, and then again sets in one hemisphere while simultaneously rising in the other, so Lord Krishna's disappearance in one universe and the beginning of his different pastimes in another take place simultaneously. As soon as the pastime is finished here, it is manifested in another universe, and his Nitya Leela or eternal pastimes are going on without ending. As the sunrise takes place once in 24 hours, similarly the pastimes of Lord Krishna take place in a universe once in the day of Brahma, the account of which is given in Bhagavad Gita. But when the Lord is present, all his different pastimes as described in the revealed scriptures take place at regular intervals. As at the sunset, the snakes become very powerful. The thieves are encouraged. The ghosts become active. The lotus becomes disfigured, and Chakravaki laments. So with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the atheists feel enlivened and the devotees become sorry. Om Ajnanantimirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Vatatikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunat Anvatam Tam Sajivantam Kvaitam Sadhutam Krishna Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnava. Hare Krishna. First of all, I want to really express my gratitude that in the month of Kartik, I've been allowed to do this service to speak on this wonderful verse. And I think this verse is what I call it the game-changing verse of Bhagavatam. You know, when you see a game, there's a moment in that game that's a game changer. And this verse, I think, is a game changer. Why do I say that? Because this verse announces a very, very important event, which actually embarks changing of a yuga. So the Dwapar Yuga is ended and the Kali Yuga is started. And the Kali Yuga will be what will happen for the next so many decades, years. So this is very important. So I just take the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, Acharyas, Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees present here and online, so that right words come out of my mouth at the right time. And maybe I can do some justice with the with the verse. So the way the class will go is that we will first talk about the two personalities in the verse who are participating in the verse. Then we'll mention a few important messages from the verse itself, take some very important words and dissect them. Then we'll talk about a little bit about the purport. And then we will see what are the take-home, what are the messages that what we learn from this verse. And finally, some take-home messages. So, Sukdev Goswami outlines the qualities of Uddhav. Why should we hear from Uddhav? Of course, content is very important, what he says. But what is most important about Srimad Bhagavatam is the emotions. Sukdev Goswami has got this unique ability to narrate the pastimes of various devotees. These pastimes we can hear in different scriptures. Various scriptures have got various informations. But Sukdev Goswami has got this unique ability to zoom on that particular emotion. And when that emotion comes out in that content from that great devotee, that's supposed to transform our heart. So when we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is not simply information we are getting. There is heart transformation going on. Why? Because we hear from a pure devotee about the emotions of these exalted devotees who are participating in this Leela. So the transformation is the key about Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because we don't have to just take information, we have to take the nectar from that. So effectively we are hearing from Uddhava. So just thinking about what Krishna consciousness means. Krishna consciousness means a lot to different people. But essentially, Krishna consciousness means being aware of consciousness or being conscious of Krishna. Being aware or being conscious of Krishna. But what it also means that Krishna is conscious about us. But what is the most important thing about Krishna consciousness? The most important thing that we are conscious that Krishna is conscious of us. So every activity that we do in our lives, forget about just being devotional in devotions, every activity we do, we should be aware that Krishna is conscious of us. If we can be conscious of that one particular thought, that Krishna is conscious of us every single moment, we will probably never do anything which Krishna will not be happy with. And that's devotional service. So, Uddhav, let's just talk about Uddhav himself. I'm so grateful to the two previous speakers who have brought about the preamble to this verse about talking about the symptoms of devotional life, and Vinod Krishna Prabhu yesterday was mentioning about these devotees. So, in the verse which you've already gone through, the second verse of this chapter, we get a glimpse of Uddhav's childhood. So he was one, even in his childhood at the age of 5 years, he was so absorbed that in service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. Now, a lot of us would say, what's the big deal? Mom calls and children and youngsters would say, mother calls and, we say we are doing something, we'll come over and we'll come for breakfast. What's the big deal? But no, it is a big deal. When I was growing up in India and in certain cultures and even in today's families, eating together is a very big deal. It's a very, very important part of life. And when parents call, kids come up. So not coming up when mother called him for breakfast was a big deal. What was he doing? He was absorbed in Krishna. And so when in purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that he used to be playing with the dolls in the form of Krishna. He would serve the dolls by dressing them, feeding them, worshipping them. And thus he was constantly absorbed in Krishna. So we get a glimpse of Uddhav. Of course, a lot can be said about Uddhav. In the 4th chapter of the 3rd canto, in the 14th verse, Uddhav himself said that, Vidur, when I was thus favored at every moment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and addressed by him with great affection, my words failed in tears. So he is himself saying that he was favored at every single moment. Now that personality we are hearing from this today. And in the 21st verse of the same chapter, the 4th chapter of the 3rd canto, he says, "My dear Vidur, now I am mad for want of the pleasure of seeing him." So he realizes that when Lord is leaving him, he's saying that I'm mad for want of the pleasure of seeing him. He's telling us that, try be mad after Krishna. Just try to see him. Try to be mad about seeing him. And he says, just to mitigate this, I am now proceeding to the Badrika ashram in Himalayas for association as I have instructed by him. So that's Uddhav. Who is Vidur? Of course, we know who Vidur is. He was insulted by his brother and Duryodhan, so he left. And then he visited all the places of pilgrimage, did all the rituals. But we get a little glimpse from the 2 verses in the 5th chapter of the 3rd canto, when there's a samvad between Maitreya Muni and Vidur. And Maitreya says, "I know that you are now Vidur, due to the cursing of Mandavya Muni," and I'm sure you have heard the story how he was cursed by Mandavya Muni, "and that formerly you were King Yamraj, the great controller of living entities after their death. You were begotten by the son of Satyavati and Vyasdev in the kept wife of his brother." And in the next verse, Maitreya Muni mentions, "Your good self is one of the eternal associates of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the sake of the Lord, while going back to his abode, left instructions with me." Now that is so important. Just think of it. Lord is leaving this planet. And he is passing on the instructions for one person. That's Vidur. He's telling Maitreya Muni, he's giving instructions so that he can be passed on to Vidur. How fortunate can Vidur get? Or how close Vidur can be? So we are hearing this samvad, or this question answer, in this verse from these 2 very, very important personalities. Why is Vidur asking this question, to which Uddhav is responding that, what can I say about our good fortune? Vidur had already been to Prabhas. He already had the idea that the Yadu dynasty has been killed. So why is he asking again? Okay, so we'll leave that question so that you can keep meditating in your mind, and we'll come to that in a minute. So let's get to the verse. So, Krishna Dyumani. What does Krishna Dyumani mean? Dyu is a synonym of fire, but actually is referring here to in terms of light. So it's light. You can say it's sun, it's day, knowledge, or you can say it's heaven or enlightenment. So whichever word you want to use. So Dyu means light. So Krishna Dyu Mani. Mani means jewel. So this is being referred to the shining jewel. Krishna is being referred to the shining jewel. So of course we know Krishna is everything. But Krishna is shining jewel. And I was reflecting on this word shining jewel. So we often get low. We feel depressed about things. Things just don't go right in our lives. But if suddenly somebody offers some hope, or offers some sweet words, or offers a solution to our problem, how good we feel. So something shines. So Krishna Dyumani. So if we can have at that moment a shine, just thinking of Krishna, and a shine coming in our mind, we can overcome that moment of grief very quickly. So that's Krishna Dyumani. Now, the next word is Nim Loche. Loche, eyes, Lochan, eyes. And Nim means closed. So, the effectively is referring to that the star or sun of Krishna has set or disappeared. So, in the Vishnu Sahasranam, the Shlok 26, there is this reference of Nimisha and Animisha, Lord as Nimisha and Animisha. And I'm sure you all have heard about why he's called Nimisha and Animisha. So Krishna can also see everything with his eyes closed. So sometimes we see that Krishna forgot that he was Lord in Vrindavan. when gopis or gopas were playing with him, he never thought he was God. So why did he forget? He didn't forget. He was so absorbed in that love and that leela that he didn't want to remember it. So then you might ask that if he is so absorbed and he is himself forgotten that he is the Lord, and if we are going to pray at that time, how are our prayers going to reach him? How is he going to see our prayers? But the Lord, we know, that can even see everything with his eyes closed. So when he's absorbed playing flute or when he's absorbed doing his leela, obviously he can see everything. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand ki jai, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Gaura Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are so many wonderful things about giving class at the manor. For me, this moment is the best moment. We are talking of sunset here, but how when the curtain closes, we feel so sad in a way. But this is the sunrise when the Lord suddenly appears. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said in his commentary that he was fully absorbed even in Vrindavan. And Shankaracharya has said that in even Yog Nidra, he although closes his eyes, but he's aware of everything. So it also reflects, Nimisha word also reflects about the devotee. So when the devotee is fully absorbed, and we know about yogis going to samadhi, but when we are fully absorbed, what do? We don't keep our eyes open and fully absorbed. We actually close our eyes when we meditate. So even it refers to, Nimisha refers to the devotee of the Lord who is fully absorbed in the Lord. And of course, the classical description is that why does Lord close his eyes? Because he doesn't want to see devotee doing wrong. He doesn't want to see anything wrong in the devotee. And as you know, the animisha means exactly opposite, keeping the eyes open. And it is referred, Lord Jagannath is all eyes. He is referred as the open eyes. So why is Lord keeping those big eyes open? Because always searching. The Lord is always searching for that little service that his devotee does. Not even a big service, just a little service. We are all hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam class. This pleases the Lord. It pleases the Lord that in month of Kartik, devotees are coming together, talking about the Lord, hearing about the Lord, chanting about the Lord. That little service, the Lord is keeping his eyes open. So Radha Gokulanand is observing us, so we better behave ourselves. It's also, when you talk about the fish or the mean avatar, the fish doesn't have the eyelids. So if somebody meditates on the mean avatar, they get knowledge and mercy. So that is about about Krishna Dyumani Nimloche. Now in the next line, there's a word her. So what does reflect? Ha-ha. When somebody says ha-ha, that's like joy, happiness, or maybe a little bit of satire. But also if it says ha-ha, it's ha-ha-kar, means sorrow. So when it's spoken fast, it's joy, but it's mostly used in terms of sorrow. So when speaking slowly, ha-ha, that means we are crying out. So here Uddhava is expressing sorrow. And of course Vidur is unhappy also. So Vidur knew that Kurus and Yadavas have already departed. But why was he asking? This is the question we first raised. Sometimes somebody is in denial, so they want to keep asking the same question till they get the answer they want. So they might want to just hear that, no, everything is fine, Krishna is here, everybody is fine. No, so he wants to hear that. But also, he wants to share his sorrow, his broken heart with another pure devotee of the Lord. And he thinks that how he will get something back. So how Uddhav is feeling? He's feeling the most unhappy a person can get. And he thinks, so Ajgar actually means python. Python swallows creatures live. So that's how Uddhav is feeling, that somebody has swallowed him and he's feeling so low. Now, obviously, Prabhupada mentions about the time that the time is swallowed. Prabhupada mentioned in the translation that now been swallowed by the great snake of time. But actually, how you feel, first is when you can see a snake, you get scared anyway. But if you see a python, if the python swallows, that's how low Uddhav is feeling. So, and he's saying, because of Uddhav's attachment to Krishna. Now, when we lose a close relative, when a close relative leaves, how low we feel, how bad we feel. Now, how bad should we feel if Krishna leaves? So if Krishna leaves our lives, we are gone. And what does it translate into practicality? It translates into practicality is that Krishna consciousness, or being Krishna conscious, or being a devotee of Krishna is the only savior, only hope. If it's exactly opposite, if Krishna leaves, or if we leave Krishna consciousness, where are we going to be? So we are just so fortunate. This is coming from, we can take inspiration from Uddhav. So Uddhav actually says, Kimnu, what can I say? What can I say? How bad I'm feeling? What can I say about our welfare? We are talking about welfare. It's the opposite. Similar sentiments, as you would know, were expressed by Arjun as well when he went to meet Yudhishthir. So, in this way, Uddhav is also sympathizing with Vidur. And this is a very important message here. That when somebody is feeling low, what do you say to that person? You first listen, you understand, and then you speak. And if you can show, or if we can show that we are in the same boat, the loss is not only yours, loss is mine as well, then it makes it so much easier for a person to handle it. So we also need to think about here another important concept about darkness. So because here it's mentioned that the son of Lord Krishna has disappeared, there's darkness. Now, in our day-to-day life, the sun rises, there's a day. Sometimes it's lighted outside. Of course, a lot of times it's dark in the UK, but sometimes it is lighted. But at the time of sunset, there's darkness. So we don't prepare for darkness after the darkness arrives. We all have electricity, we all have lighting, we have got candles, we've got something to light our house or light our surroundings before the darkness appears. So what is this message here? The message here is that although it's been mentioned that Krishna has disappeared, there's darkness, but we don't have to wait till that point of time for the darkness to arrive to deal with it. We have to deal with it much, much before. We much have to prepare before. And I will bring the concept of what is the ultimate loss that we can have and how do we prepare about it. So we'll just come back to that in a minute. So Lord says Uddhav says that the great snake of time, and we know what time means. Time is obviously is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world, but here Kal is so strong. Do we realize that there are only two forms of time? Past and future. Do you all agree? No, because you'll say there's a present, right? But there is no present. The moment you say now, it's gone. Become a past. So it's either future or past. So time is so important, and there are so many verses, and I think we're going to be running short of time. But in Kunti Maharani says in the 28th verse in our prayers in the 8th chapter of the first canto, "My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be the eternal time." And in the 38th verse, it says, "As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with Pandavas, Yadus, will end at once." That's Kunti Maharani saying. And she's saying that, in the 37th verse, "Are you leaving us today? Though we are completely dependent on your mercy and no one else is there to protect us." So here we see that how do we prepare ourselves for that darkness, and that this theme is coming out. What the theme is coming out about, that when Kunti Maharani said that we are completely dependent on your mercy, that is the only saving grace, is that we have got the dependence and the absorption. So, and we understand that this is, Krishna is our only shelter, and he makes things happen. So story time. So you've all heard the story of the cobbler and the Brahman. Let's just recap it, because it's a wonderful story to recap in terms of absorption. So as you know, Narad was going to Vaikuntha to meet Lord Narayan, and on his way he meets this cobbler. And cobbler is just doing, cobbler in Hindi is called mochi, So he does menial jobs. So he's doing his job, and so Narad comes. So he gives him a nice seat, offers sweet words, and he doesn't have much to offer. So cobbler says, where are you going? He said, I'm just going to visit the Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. So he said, okay, just ask him what's my fate, when I'm going to be relieved from this life. So he says, sure. Then he goes along and he meets this wonderful Brahman, who's dedicated all his life, generations of his life to worship of the Lord. And so he says, where are you going? So Narad Muni says, I'm going to meet Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. So he says, please ask me when I will be going back. So fair enough. So Narad Muni reaches Vaikuntha, and Lord Narayan says, what happened in your travels? So he says, I met this cobbler, I met this Brahman, and they were both asking, what is their fate? When would they go back? So Lord says, tell the cobbler that he's going back after this lifetime. And he says, what about Brahman? So he said, so Lord says, Brahman will have to carry on doing his devotional service for quite a while. And Narad is just taken aback a little bit. And but anyway, that's Lord's instruction. So he comes back. So he meets the Brahman. But Lord says that, so when Lord sees Narad being perplexed, he says, tell them that if they ask what was Lord doing, just say that he was threading the elephant back and forth from the eye of the needle. So, fair enough. So he goes to Brahman. Brahman says, well, what did Lord say? Lord says that you'll have to carry on doing your devotional service. He said, that's not possible. I'm ready to go. I've done everything. And he says, I don't even think you actually went to meet Lord Narayan. He said, yes, sir, I did. What was you doing? So he was threading the elephant from the eye of the needle back and forth. He said, see, I told you, you never went there. Nobody can do that. So he moves on, and then he goes to the cobbler. And the cobbler says, you went to Lord Narayan, what happened? So he said, you're going back after this lifetime. He said, really? Did Lord say that? He said, you don't believe it? He said, no, I can't believe it. How I don't deserve this. So he said, but, I'll tell you what Lord was doing. Narad said, then you'll believe it. He said, Lord was threading the elephant to the needle of the eye. So he said, Jai. So, what do you mean, Jai? Why do you believe this? How can somebody thread the elephant to the needle? He said, why not? The Lord can do everything. He said, see this big banyan tree. If the Lord can pack this big banyan tree in a small seed, he can do everything. So that's our faith. The reason I quoted this story is just to say that the only recourse we have is to have faith and absorption. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we learn from this verse. I'm going to go a little bit over my time at 8:30 because this is very important for me. So we talk about Vaikuntha and we talk about Kuntha. So Kuntha means anxiety, and Vaikuntha means where there is no anxiety. But this material world is Kuntha, full of anxiety. So just think in your mind, what makes you anxious? Try and really bring it down to one point. Is there anybody in this room who is not anxious at any time? Please raise your hands. You've got one hand up there, but Lord is watching you, so remember what you're raising your hand with. Okay, besides this particular devotee who's never anxious, I think all of us get anxious at some point. So why do we get anxious? because we are fearful. What are we afraid of? We are afraid of losing something. We are afraid of losing our possessions, our attachment to our family, our money, maybe our house, maybe our name, maybe our fame. We are fearful of losing it, and that's what makes us anxious. If we fall sick, and obviously you're listening from a surgeon, so obviously that's the most important example which will come in my life is if somebody is sick, why are they anxious? They're anxious about losing some function of their organ or being invalid or something like that. And that's really what makes us anxious, is fear of losing. What's the biggest fear people have? Is losing what exactly? Govind Prabhu is right. Losing this body, death. That's the biggest fear we have. If somehow in this lifetime we can overcome that fear of that attachment of this body, from fear of losing us and fear of death, believe me, there's almost no anxiety left. There will be, of course, anxiety at the moment, but it will significantly reduce. So this fear and anxiety is what leads to us being most anxious. And that's what I want to talk about, is the sunset, about the death, about the light going off, about losing everything. And one of the very important things is, going to just stay for 2 more minutes. I want to just make this point because I want to give you an exercise to take when you're going back home. Is that just imagine the day of death. When it arrives, there's one thing which we'll never be able to, is to address our regrets. So I would give an exercise to all of you, is think and put it down on a piece of paper, what potential regrets you might have on the day when you are facing death. These young individuals sitting here, they're although nodding, but it's not relating to them. It's people like us who are now in his 50s, 60s, or 70s, it relates to us. But important thing is just think of that regrets. There could be 4 regrets, 5 regrets, 6 regrets. Just write them down. And 6 or 7 of them, 2 or 3 of them may not apply to you. It might be that I've got this desire to get something, a bigger house or a nice car. Now that might not apply to you, but write it down and say, okay, it doesn't apply to me. It might be that I want to go more deeper into Srimad Bhagavatam. That might be a regret. Now, if you write down those regrets today and start working on them, even if you have not finished it completely, on the day of the death, you will get this thought that, oh, I've got these regrets, and that day you will not be able to address them. But if you have addressed them today, then at least you will have that satisfaction that I've addressed all my regrets, I've done all my unfinished business. And then one could die peacefully. Because when we talk about remembering Lord Krishna at the time of death, what people are overcome by all these thoughts. And hence thought of Krishna doesn't come. Although we chant, we practice whole life, we do our devotional service, but at the time of death, it's very overwhelming what these thoughts come. I know them because I see people dying. When in my medical life, I see people dying, and I know these they are overwhelmed by only. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. I wish I would have done this much. So if we address them today, we've got still some more life left with Krishna's mercy. We will be able to die so peacefully. So I know you have to go, but this is a very important aspect of preparation for the dark. So I just want to mention that in the Isha Upanishad, the 17th mantra, in the last 3 mantras, there are prayers, and this mantra is very strong. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with totality of air. But what the devotee is saying, and this is, you might find it controversial. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. That's coming from the heart. that is so desperate. But if we haven't done that, how can we even pray that at that time? So we have to prepare. So it's a preparation of lifetimes, not simply preparation of chanting. That's very important. Doing devotional service is very important, being absorbed. But preparation of our mindset is very important. So when we talk about Krishna Dyumani Nimloche, when we talk about the sun of Krishna has set, we have to prepare for that sunset now. So I always make this point that Krishna consciousness is not a luxury. It's an emergency. When our house is on fire, you would probably not look for those 10 pounds that you kept there, or your passport, or your belongings. You will need to get out of the house. Otherwise, you'll be gone. We are in this state. As Guru Maharaj said the other day, that they are the traffic light, the red, the amber, the green. The green is life, red we are gone, and amber is flashing. It is flashing that the red may come. A lot of us are not able to see it. We hear about it, we speak in our talks, we speak in our classes, but we don't see the red light coming. My request to you is to think that please do not get into this illusion this will never happen to us. It's coming to all of us. But happily, on a happier note, we prepare for it. Once we are prepared for it, or we are preparing for it, we have no anxiety left. So whatever time we have, we can thoroughly enjoy. When we can not only enjoy, but we can enjoy our Krishna consciousness. If we are elated, the chanting becomes so much better. If we are down, we are chanting, but it's not the same. So let's, for the sake of our Krishna consciousness also. And so the 12th canto, the 3rd chapter, 51st verse, it says, Krishna is non-different than his holy name. And he has now appeared to guide us and mitigate us through this age of Kali Yuga. So we did say that when Krishna Dyumani Nimloche, it announces the Kali Yuga has come. But when we read this 51st verse of the 3rd chapter and 12th canto, the holy name is non-different than Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different than Krishna. So one of your regrets, I hope, should be that I'm not going deep enough into my spiritual life. Certainly is mine. And we can start working on it. So in this month of Kartik, and of course every day, let's just remember that Krishna consciousness is not a luxury. It's a gift to us. It's an emergency. But we are very, very fortunate. So let's be thankful. Let's express our gratitude in the way that the cobbler had the faith that Lord can thread the elephant through the needle back and forth. So just to conclude, we discussed the two personalities, Uddhav and Vidur, and they are so important personalities as the Lord left his last instructions for Vidur, and Uddhav is his childhood friend. We discussed the verse where we discussed Krishna Dyumani Nimloche, and we discussed the word Ha. And we say that Kim Nuna, what can I even say? Then we discuss in the purport why it's the sun, setting of the sun is and disappearance and appearance of Krishna is just like setting and appearing of the sun. We then discussed about the lessons that we have learned, and we specifically talked about preparation for the sunset, which is preparation for death. And we did take home. We are going to take home one exercise: is to go home today or on the weekend, write down our regrets in our lives, and those regrets we need to start working on. So when the day of death arrives, we are in no anxiety. And ultimately, Krishna consciousness brings about detachment. It brings about renunciation. We don't reduce our responsibilities by detachment, but we just get a sense of detachment. So on the day, again, anxiety would be less. And And finally, we know that there is all this is hope, because Krishna's holy name is with us, Srimad Bhagavatam is with us, exalted Vaishnavas are with us, our Guru is with us, and the Vani is with us. So we have got this wonderful treasure that we can work through our life. But if we reduce the anxiety, the enjoyment would be far more. And finally, we say that Krishna consciousness is not a luxury, it's an emergency. Our house is on fire, we need to get out there and practice it. Hare Krishna. So we might take one or two questions if there are any, otherwise we can stop the talk here. But thank you very much for being wonderful listeners. I think the mention of death and stuns everybody, but we still have some time, hopefully, so we can work on it. Okay, I think we can end the talk here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Please do the exercise.
No, I'm going to. It was very interesting. It's a good point.
And share it with your friends.
Yes, I will.
I sat down with myself and worked on it.
Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhamidamisham Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sajeevam अवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादं सहगन ललिता श्री विशाखा विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवासभानवी देवी गीताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानम दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्जल प्रमाढ्य शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणी सिद्धांत गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्ते विप्रणम्बर शाम्बोधे पादाम्भोजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिनी गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगमरायते गौरयाविर्भावभूमेस्तं नित्यश्चा सज्जनप्रियं वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। नमो महावदन्नाय भक्त्याख्यं नमामि भक्तशतीकम् पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकम् भक्त्यावतारम् भक्त्याख्यं नमामि भक्तशतीकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत जयतां शिरतौ पङ्गं जयतां शिरतौ पङ्गं मम मन्दन्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजौ राधावदनमोहनम् जयतां शिरतौ पङ्गं मम मन्दन्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजं राधा मदनमोहनम् दिग्पदवृन्द्यारण्यकल्पद्रुमाध श्रीमद्रत्नगारसिंहासनस्थं श्रीराधा गोविन्ददेवं पृष्ठालीभिः सेवमानं स्मरामि दिग्वद्वृन्द्यारण्यकल्पद्रुमाधं श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवं पृष्ठालीभिः सेव्यमानं स्मरामि वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुशनै गोपीनाथस्वेस्तु नः श्रीमानरासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुशनै गोपी भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य भज भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य भज भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
না ভজিয়া মাইন প্রেম রতন ধন হেলায় হারায়. This is another song by Narottam Das Thakur. He is saying that I have invited my spiritual death by not worshipping Lord Chaitanya. Gora pahu na bhojiya main. Gora pahu means Lord Chaitanya. Na bhojiya, without worshipping, moinu. I have invited a spiritual death. And adhane jatana kari dhanato agni. Why I have invited the spiritual death? Because I am engaged in something which is useless and I have rejected the real purpose of my life. Adhan means valueless things and dhan means valuables. So actually, every one of us neglecting our spiritual emancipation, we are engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we are losing the opportunity of this human form of body to elevate myself on the spiritual platform. This human body is especially given to the conditioned soul to take a chance for spiritual emancipation. So anyone who does not care for spiritual emancipation is inviting spiritual death. Spiritual death means to forget oneself that he is spirit. That is spiritual death. So in the animal life, it is fully forgetfulness. They cannot be reminded at any circumstances that they are not this body, they are different from this body. It is only in this human form of body, a human form of life, one can understand that he is not this body, he is spirit soul. So, by chanting Hare Krishna, one can easily understand this fact, and by worshipping Lord Chaitanya, following his principles and ways, one can chant Hare Krishna and very easily come to the platform of spiritual understanding. But Narottam Das Thakur says on our behalf that we are neglecting this, therefore we are inviting spiritual death. Then he says, Prema Rathana Dhana Hilaya. Spiritual life means to develop real love. Everyone says love. There are so many signboards, so many papers, love, love. There is no love. This is illusion. This is all lust. love for intoxication, love for sex, love for this. This is going on. So, actual love means love, this word can be applicable only with Krishna, with God, because we are created for that purpose. To love means to love Krishna. So that is one thing. That is spiritual love. So, Prema Ratana, I could achieve that transcendental position of love, but I am neglecting. Therefore, I am calling my spiritual death. And these things are happening due to my past misdeeds. Everyone who has got this material body, it is due to past misdeeds. Sometimes we call pious deeds. Actually, so long one gets this material body, there is no pious deed. Pious deeds means no more material body. That is pious. Otherwise, it is to be taken as a fact that even Brahma, who is the chief living entity within this universe, and has got a mass of years as duration of life, all power, still that is also considered as misdeed because he has got the material body. So we are going deep down and down, one after another body by our misdeeds. In the Bhagavad also it is stated that they do not know that by this sense gratificatory process they will have another body. And the body is the cause of material pangs. Because I have got this body, therefore I felt headache, I felt stomach ache, I felt this and that. But as soon as we are out of this material body, there is no more material pangs. It is simply joyful life. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna. Prasannatma means joyful as soon as one gets spiritual life. So, due to my past deeds, I am missing this opportunity. Apana karamadasya apana. Why it is happening? Satsanga chari koini asati bilas. I have given up the association of devotees, but I am associating with common nonsense men. Asati, asat and sat. Sat means spirit, and asat means matter. Association of material attachment means implication in this material conditional life. So one has to make association with devotees. Satang prasangad mama bija samvida. One can understand about God only in association of devotees. Therefore, we are advocating this Krishna consciousness movement. Society. Actually, we find one who comes to the society by associating a few days, a few weeks, he becomes conscious and he comes forward for initiation and further advancement. So this association is very important. Those who are conducting different centers and temples, they should be very responsible men because everything will depend on their sincere activities and character. If they are insincere, then that will not be effective. One may come and associate with us, but if we are insincere, then it will not be effective. But if the devotees are sincere, anyone who will come in contact with a devotee, he will change. That is the secret. Satsanga charikaini asate bila. And as soon as we give up the association of these devotees, immediately Maya will catch me. As soon as we give up this company, Maya says, yes, come in my company. Without any company, nobody can remain neutral. That is not possible. We must associate with Maya or Krishna. So, everyone should be very much serious to keep association with devotees, with Krishna. Krishna means, when you speak of Krishna, Krishna means Krishna with his devotees. Krishna is never alone. Krishna is with Radharani, Radharani is with the gopis, and Krishna is with the cowherd's boy. We are not impersonalists. We do not see Krishna alone. Similarly, Krishna means with Krishna's devotees. The Krishna consciousness means to keep association with the devotees of Krishna. Vishaya Vishama Visha Satato Khain. And he says that I have drunk always the most dangerous poison of sense gratification. Vishaya Vishama Visha. Visha means sense gratification. Eating, sleeping, mating, and depending. These are called Visha. And Vishama means dangerously, and Visha means poison. If one is simply engaged with these four principles of life, just like animals, then it is to be supposed that is simply drinking poison. That's all. Vishama, Vishaya, Vishama, Satato Khain. I know this be poison, but I am so much intoxicated that I am drinking this poison every moment. Gaura Kirtana Rase Magana Nahi. And I could not merge myself into the Sankirtan movement started by Lord Chaitanya. That is actually the fact. Those who are too much attached to materialistic way of life are always drinking the poison of sense gratification. They are not attracted by the Sankirtan movement. So, at the last, Narottam Das Thakur is lamenting. He is representing ourselves. If one comes to that point of lamentation, that is also very nice. He immediately becomes purified. Lamentation means purification. So he says, Kanava achaya prana kisugala. So why I am living? I do not make association with the devotees. I do not take part in the Sankirtan movement. I do not understand what is Krishna. I do not understand what is Lord Chaitanya. Then what for I am living? This is lamentation. What is my happiness? What is the standard of my happiness? Why I am living? Narottama Dasukano Nagale. Why I did not die long ago? I should have died. What is the meaning of my life? So, it is not Narottam Das Thakur lamentation. Every one of us should think like that if we cannot make association with devotees, if we do not understand what is Krishna consciousness movement, if we do not come in touch with Lord Chaitanya and associate, it was better for me to die, and there is no other remedy.
Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tana Parau Premamritambanidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nirmasarau Pujitau Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuva Maravahantarakau Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghujibam Sri Jiva Gopalakau Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tana Parau Premamritambanidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nirmasarau Pujitau Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipanau Sadharma Sangha Sthapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Manna Saranyakarau Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipanau Sadharma Samastapakau Lokanam Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Mannam Saranyakanau Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Matvalikam वन्दे रूपसनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ कृष्ण कीर्तन गाननर्तन परौ प्रेमामृताम्बनिधि धीरा धीर जन प्रियौ प्रियकर्णौ नीमत्सरौ पूजितं श्री चैतन्य कृपावनौ भुवि भुवो भारावहन्तारकं वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगं श्रीजीवगोपालकौ श्रीगौराङ्गगुणानुवर्णन विधौ सध्यासमिद्धान्वितौ पापतापनिकृन्तनौ तनुभितां गोविन्दगानामृतये आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनैकनिपनौ कैवल्यनिस्वारकौ वन्दे रूपसनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ कृष्ण कीर्तन गाननर्तन परौ प्रेमामृताम्बनिधि धीरा धीर जन प्रियौ प्रियकरो नीमत्सरौ पूजितौ श्री चैतन्य कृपाभरौ भुवि भुव भारावहन्तारकं वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकं वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगं श्रीजीवगोपालकं तत्त्वातु नमसे समण्डलपतिशनि सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणेशकौ करुणया कोऽपि न कण्ठाश्रितौ तत्त्वातु नमसे समण्डलपतिशनि सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणेशको करुणया कोऽपि न कण्ठाश्रितौ गोपी भावरसामृताब्धिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नोन्महो वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगं श्रीजीवगोपालकं कृष्ण कीर्तन गाननर्तन परौ प्रेमामृताम्बनिधि धीरा धीर जन प्रियौ प्रियकरौ निर्मत्सरौ पूजितौ श्री चैतन्य कृपाभरौ भुवि भुव भारावहन्तारकं वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ कृष्ण कीर्तन गाननर्तन परौ.
This is a song sung by Bhaktivedanta Thakur. He is asking everyone to rise early in the morning. Vibhavari Shesha, the night is over, Aloka Pravesha, the glimpses of sunlight are there. Now you get up. Nidra chhari utho jiva. Don't sleep anymore. That is the of Vedic life. One should not sleep after sunrise. He must rise before sunrise. That is healthy life also. So, just instantly after rising from the bed, one should chant the holy names of the Lord. Here it is suggested, Bala Hari Hari. Now we chant Hare Krishna mantra, Mukunda Murari. Krishna's different names. Mukunda means one who gives liberation. Murari, Murari means Krishna, the enemy of the demon of the name Mura. Rama is another name, celebrated Rama, Krishna, Hayagriva. Hayagriva is another incarnation of Krishna. Similarly, Nishinga, Narahari, half lion, half man, Nishinga Deva, Vamana incarnation, Nishinga Vamana, Sri Madhusudana. Madhusudana, there was a demon, Madhu and Kaitav. They came to swallow up Brahma after his creation. So they were killed. Therefore, Krishna's another name is Madhusudana. Madhusudana name is found in Bhagavad Gita in various places. Madhusudana means the enemy of Madhu. Krishna is both friend and enemy. He is actually friend of everyone, but he becomes enemy-like for one who treats Krishna as enemy. He is nobody's enemy. But if anyone wants to see him as enemy, he appears like enemy. That is absolute. The demons, they want to see Krishna as enemy. So, accepting the desire of the demons, he appears before him as enemy, kills him, and gives him liberation. That is absolute pastime of Krishna. Madhusudana, Brajanda Nandana Shyama. Actually, God has no name, but his names are selected according to his pastime. Just like this Madhusudana name is given to him because he killed the Madhu demon. Similarly, he is known as Brajandanandana, the son of Vrindavan, because he appeared as the son of Jashoda and Nanda Maharaj, Brajandanandana. Shyama, his bodily hue is blackish, therefore he is called Shyama Sundar. Putana Ghatana Kaitava Satana Jaya Dasarathi Rama. So because he killed the demon Putana, his name is Putana Ghatana. Ghatana means killer. Kaitava Satana. And he is chastiser of all kinds of dangers. Jaya Dasarathi Rama. In connection of his killing the Ravana, he is glorified Jaya, Dasarathi. Dasarathi means his father's name was Dasarath. So he is Dasarathi. Dasarathi Ram. Jashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala. Jashoda Dulal means pet son of Mother Jashoda, Govinda Gopala. And his cowherd's boy, Govinda, giving pleasure to the cows, Vrindavana Purandara, the chief of the Vrindavan land. He is the center of attraction for everyone in Vrindavan. Ravanantakara, Gopi Priyajana, is very favorable to the Gopi Priya. Radhika Ravana. and he always enjoys the company of Radharani. That his name is Radhika Raman. Bhuvana Sundara. So he attracted so many gopis. That means he is attractive to the whole universe. Nobody is more attractive than Krishna within this universe or within anywhere. Therefore he is called Bhuvana Sundara Boro. Boro means the chief. Ravanantakara Makhana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari. As Rama, when he appeared as Lord Ramchandra, he killed Ravana, Ravanantakara, Makhana Taskara. And in Vrindavan, he is known as the butter thief. In his childhood pastime, he used to steal butter from the pots of the gopis. That was his pleasure, pastime. Therefore, he is called Makhana Taskara, Makhancho, Gopijana Vastrahari. And he also stolen the garments of the gopis while they were taking bath. This is very confidential. Actually, the gopis wanted Krishna. They prayed to Katyayani Devi, goddess Katyayani, because he was attractive to all the girls of his age. So they wanted Krishna as husband. So superficially, Krishna was of the same age, and how he could be husband for all the gopis, that is superficial. But he accepted. Because the gopis wanted to become wives of Krishna, therefore Krishna accepted that proposal. In order to show them the mercy, he stolen the garments. Because a husband can take away the covering of wife's bodily garment. Nobody can touch it. So that is the purpose. But people do not know. Therefore, Krishna Lila has to be heard from realized soul. Or these portions should be avoided. Otherwise, we shall misunderstand that Krishna took away the garments and he was very much fond, woman hunter like that. Not that. He is Supreme Lord. He fulfills the desire of every devotee. So Krishna had no business to see the gopis naked. But because they wanted to become wife, so he fulfilled their desire. Token, yes, I am your husband. I am taking your garment. And now you take your garment and go home. Therefore, he is known as Gopijana Vastrohari. Brajanda Rakhala Gopavrinda Pala Chitta Hari Vansi Dhari. Brajanda Rakhala, the cowherd boys in Vrindavan, and Gopavrinda Pala, his only object was how to satisfy the cowherdsmen, including his father, uncle. They are all keeping cows to please them. So he is Gopavinda Pala, Chitta Hari Bansidhari. And when he was playing the flute, it was taking the heart of everyone. Chitta Hari. He was taking away the heart of everyone. Joginda Bandhana. In spite of Krishna's playing as a small cowherd boy in Vrindavan, just like a village boy, making jokes with his friends, but still he is Joginda Bandhana. Joginda means greatest yogi, mystic. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa avasanti jam yogina. The yogina, the meditation, whom they are trying to find out, this Krishna, they are trying to find out Krishna. So unless they come to the point of concentrating their mind on Krishna, their yogic principle or mystic power is baffled. Yogi nama pi sarvesam madgata antara. Yogi, first class yogi, must keep always Krishna within his heart. That is perfection of yoga. That it is called Yoginda Bandhana, Sinanda Nandana, Brajajana Bhayahari. Although he is worshipped by the great mystics, still he lives in Vrindavan as son of Nanda Maharaj, and the residents of Vrindavan, they feel safe and sound under protection of Krishna. Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Vansi Vihari. Navina Nirada. Nirada means cloud. His complexion is just like new cloud. New cloud, blackish. Rupa, still he is so beautiful. Generally, black is not considered very beautiful within this material world. But because his body is transcendental, even he is blackish, he is the universally attract. Rupa Manohara. Mahana Bansidhari. Simply when he stands with his flute, he, even though he is blackish, he becomes so attractive to everyone. Jasodanandana Kansani Sudana. He is very much celebrated as the son of Mother Jasoda. He is the killer of Kansa and Nikunja Rasa Vilas. And he used to dance, rasa dance, in the Nikunja, Bangshi Bhat, Nikunja. Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana. There are many Kadamba trees. Kadamba is a kind of flower that is especially grown in Vrindavan. Very fragrant and beautiful, solid flower, round. So Kadamba Kanana, he used to enjoy his rasa dance underneath the tree of this Kadamba. Ananda Vardhana Prema Nikitana Phulasara Jujaka Kama. So he was exciting the lusty desires of the gopis and increasing their transcendental bliss. Ananda Vardhana Prema Nikitana, because he is reservoir of all places. The gopis used to come to enjoy because he is the reservoir of all places. Just like we go to fetch water from a lake where there is water. Similarly, if we want actually blissful life, then we shall draw it from the reservoir of all pleasure, Krishna. Ananda Vardhana. That pleasure will increase. The material pleasure will decrease. You cannot enjoy for a long time. It will decrease. But a spiritual pleasure, if you want to draw it from the reservoir of all pleasure, Krishna, then it will increase. Your pleasure potency will increase and you will get more and more pleasure. As you increase your pleasure potency or desire, the supply is also incessant. There is no limit. Phulasara Jujaka Kama. He is the transcendental Cupid. Cupid with his bows and arrow, he increases the lusty desires of this material world. Similarly, in the spiritual world, he is the supreme Cupid. He was increasing the lusty desires of the gopis. They used to come there, and both of them, there was no decrease. They were increasing their desire and Krishna was supplying them without any material concept of life. They're simply dancing, that's all. Gopangana gana chitta vinodana samastha gunagana dhama. It is especially attractive for the Gopangana. Gopangana means the damsels of Brajadham. Gopangana gana chitta vinodana. They were simply absorbed in Krishna's thought. They were so much became attached to Krishna, they could not give up his existence of his form within the heart for a moment. Chitta vinodana, they capture the heart of the gopi. Chitta vinodana, samasta gunagana dham.
He is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Jamuna jivana keli parayana manasa chanda chakora. Manasa chanda chakora. There is a bird which is known as chakora. He looks toward the moon sign. Similarly, he was the moon amongst the gopis, and they were simply looking after him. And he is the life of the river Jamuna because he used to enjoy jumping over the river of Jamuna. Nama Sudhara, Gao Krishna Nama, Jasa, Rakha Bachana. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is requesting everyone, now you chant all these different names of the Lord and save me. Rakha Bachanam, my dear mind, please keep my word. Don't refuse. Go on chanting all these holy names of Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষা বাণী নিতাই গুণমণি আমার নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষা বনি নিতাই গুণমণি আমার নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষা বনি নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষা বনি প্রেমের বন্যা লইয়া নিতাই আইল গৌরদে প্রেমের বন্যা লইয়া নিতাই আইল গৌরদে ডুবিল ভগত দীন ভাসে প্রেমের বন্যা লইয়া নিতাই আইলা গৌর দেশে ডুবিল ভকত গণ দিন ভাসে নিতাই গুণমণি আমার নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষা নিতাই গুণমণি আমার নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষা পতিত পামর হীন পতিত পামর নাহি বাছে বল্লার দুর্লভ প্রেম বাকারে যাচে ब्रह्मार दुर्लभ प्रेम अबाकर जाचे अबद्ध करुणा सिंधु हितई कति अनुहार अबद्ध करुणा